I'm Sandy, CEO of Beacon of Hope Crisis Center. It's an honor to share with the Impact 100 community our Foster Pet Sanctuary project, which is an innovative solution to a relatively unknown problem. Beacon of Hope Crisis Center empowers victims of domestic violence and sexual assault to become self-sufficient by providing safety, education, and support. We will expand our foster pet program, created to ensure that victims can leave their abusive situation without the fear of losing or leaving their pets behind. The addition of the Foster Pet Sanctuary will have an immediate impact. The facility will allow us to intervene earlier, preventing harm and death to both human and pet victims of domestic violence. With the opening of the Foster Pet Sanctuary and additional funding for foster caregivers, the foster pet program will navigate fewer barriers such as capacity, availability of foster homes and volunteers, and rejection of certain breeds and types of pets. Beacon of Hope Crisis Center will have more resources to help human victims in our community with safely fleeing the source of their abuse. Many people are not aware of how common it is for abusers to threaten and use acts of violence against pets to assert power and control over their victims, to keep them from leaving. Over 71% of abuse victims have horror stories about how their partners killed, harmed, or threatened animals to keep them from leaving. I not only lead this agency, but I am part of that statistic. I too am a survivor, and my story involves moving 14 times in 13 years because of my abuser, and my dog was harmed because I did not want to move again. The cycle of violence consists of honeymoon, calm denial, tension building, and acute explosion phases. In the honeymoon phase, repeatedly, I was promised that we would never move again, and I was given major gifts after each move. After one of those moves, I was gifted a puppy. He grew big and was a loyal sweetheart that went everywhere with me. I did not want to move again, and when I shared this, my abuser exploded with rage and nearly kicked my dog to death. I was told, I'm leaving for the day, and when I return, if that dog is still here, I will finish him. There was no foster pet program in that state, and I had to surrender him to a rescue in order to save him. No one should ever have to give up their pet in order to be safe. Most victims with pets who have come to us for help have disclosed significant neglect and pet abuse by their abuser. Neither humans nor pets are safe when it comes to domestic violence. We recently assisted a client in crisis whose dog required urgent vet care and fostering. This dog saved the life of its owner. The abuser was assaulting the victim, and her dog intentionally protected her by standing between her and the attacker. Her dog, her beloved best friend and companion, was stabbed several times. The client needed to go into shelter but would not go because she worried there were no shelters that would care for her and her brave dog that had intercepted the knife meant for her. Fortunately, we were able to help them both. It was extremely challenging to place this dog in a foster home because of its breed and injuries, but we made it happen so the victim would let us help her. And after receiving shelter and advocacy services, the human survivor was stronger, independent, and self-sufficient, and was reunited with her beloved pet, who had recovered after emergency vet services. If the foster pet sanctuary had been fully funded, all the stress and delays could have been avoided. The sanctuary would have immediately been available to safely shelter and care for this dog while seeking an ideal foster placement. Abusers know there is a deep bond between a victim and their pets, and therefore they will almost always target the pets first. The Indianapolis area needs the Beacon of Hope Foster Sanctuary because every victim, even furry ones, deserve to be safe. Victims call the Beacon of Hope crisis line directly, and law enforcement, rescues, and other domestic violence and sexual assault agencies refer to us through our collaborative partnerships. Expanding our ability to meet the needs of victims with pets will save more lives in the greater Indianapolis community. Abused animals are often a signal to domestic violence issues, When animals are abused, people are at risk. When people are abused, animals are at risk. Both are victims and both need our help. Our program also raises awareness on the link between domestic violence and pet abuse, and how to recognize the signs to help keep human and pet victims safe. The foster pet program, as it's functioning now, is a successful model, evidenced in several states and the first of its kind in Indiana. And our proposed project is nationally innovative and expands on this model to solve critical gaps that exist in serving victims. It provides prevention and intervention trainings on the link between domestic violence and pet abuse. In doing so, we are taking a step in breaking the cycle of abuse. The Foster Pet Sanctuary will give victims a clear solution to housing their pets while fleeing their abuser, and serves as a comfort to know that we can take in their pets in real time. Funds from the generous support of Impact 100 will help this much-needed expansion of our current foster pet program, help save more human and pet victims, and together allow us all to be a change maker in breaking the cycle of abuse in our community. This is your opportunity to support life-saving innovation with your vote for Beacon of Hope's Foster Pet Sanctuary. I'm asking for your vote. Abuse victims and their pets are waiting for help. Can you make sure the Foster Pet Sanctuary is there to provide it? Thank you.